No, this is my work computer.
Okay.
Okay, go.
Looks
Justin.
3, 2, 1. Hello, Internet. We've got a controversial one for you today, and we're not talking about Ebola in New York City. Apparently, that doctor, he'll be okay, and so will you. Anyway, we're going to go to the next most controversial topic, and the thing that is second most likely to infect your heart and mind, Gamergate. Heim Cohen of HeimTime.com is here. Hello, Heim.
Hello, everybody.
Paul N. Shapiro of SearchWilderness.com is also here, and he's bearding it out like I am. Hello, Paul.
Hey.
Paul did not do his homework and read up on the Wikipedia article that tells us what Gamergate is, and it doesn't involve Hillary Clinton, and it probably doesn't involve any gates. But anyway, Han, what is?
So apparently you didn't do your homework either.
Well, no, I'm throwing it to you. You brought us into this mess, time. So you're gonna have to open the door and explain to young Paul what Gamergate is.
Okay, so after days of researching, and I mean, every time I see a hashtag Gamergate, I went to try and figure out what this is, and weeks of this discussions, I guess, since August. To be honest with you, I still have no idea what's going on.
Oh.
Something about but hold on, I have a one-liner.
Okay. So this very controversial thing, Hein has whittled it down to give it to open the door enough for himself to throw a one-liner at us. Please, Hein, do it.
Basically, some indie developer got criticism for doing something nefarious, and it just exploded into sexism and misogyny on the internet. So an indie developer apparently was caught either having an affair or doing something naughty with one of the editors of Kotaku, which is a big gaming publisher, and people started harassing her, saying she did it for the publicity. And that's when it started. So something that was supposed to be, okay, somebody wrote an article about this game, turned into women on the internet are terrible people, and we need to be cowards. And do you promote misogyny? What's the verb of misogyny?
Well, promoting misogyny would mean that you're promoting it just like you would promote a breast cancer awareness luncheon. I mean, what verb are you looking for, Hein?
We're advocating being nasty to women. So
they support it, whether tacitly or actively. They think it's acceptable because of the context. They think it's acceptable overall. They don't think it's acceptable, but anonymity makes people go down the road of being misogynistic. They feel like they
all of that. I mean, basically, all of that. So anytime a woman stands up for saying, I feel uncomfortable in the tech industry, Reddit and 4chan open up and they dox the female, or they find every excuse under the book. And like you said, anonymously, and these are young people doing it. I mean, it's not you and I. It's these people who can remain anonymous on the internet, and we see the seedy underbelly. And maybe this is why people are saying that women don't want to partake in the internet.
Well, this is a particular facet of the internet that is being kind of tested here. The realm of gaming, which is huge, and of course has female participants, and then taking it to Kotaku, which is one of the first tier gaming review kind of sites. This looks like it is a way for, at the very least, it is marginalizing a woman for her point of view at the very least, and maximally, it's verbal assault. And threats of violence and stuff like that, which is, a crappy thing to do in any case. And then it seems all the more petty here, where it's turned from this, from having any chance of having an objective discussion about the core issue to just an excuse to bash people who agree with the woman, or even I guess they're saying something as kind of even keeled as what I'm saying, which is just a standard response. Misogyny is unacceptable, right?
Yeah. I mean, Felicia Day came out today, or yesterday, to denounce what is going on. And within hours, her home address and her phone number and everything was all published. And Felicia Day apparently is one of the Queen's saviors of some sort of I mean, she did Dr. Horrible sing-along blog. She's famous for that, which is a cult hit on the internet. So even she couldn't not even defend it, but say, please stop, this is bad. And people said, screw you, and moved on.
Paul, does this remind you of when the lady was, I don't know how this ended, if it's ended, when the lady who was around for the nascency of Tinder is trying to get her fair shake from the company? I mean, what do you make of this?
I don't know. I think the gaming community tends to be kind of immature, and you're seeing that combined with like a bunch of people that know how to do things associated with like some very, very minor hacking, and it's getting out of hand.
Okay, I mean, now I'm going to ask Heim Time to put on his Mr. Heim Cohen hat and ask whether or not this has made its way. Have you heard from the mouths of babes? Are high school students still? I don't even want to call them that, honestly. But have your students talked about this at all, Heim?
No, my students don't. And this is what I was talking to someone earlier today while doing my quote-unquote research. Anybody who's under the age of 25, probably under 30, had some sort of thing in school on self-issues and how to be nice to people and how to be not racist and we're all the same and we're all one big happy family. And apparently these 25-year-olds decide that all of that meant nothing.
Well, you know, the thing about gaming on the internet, it's really easy for an 11-year-old to sound a little bit like an immature 25-year-old. And frankly, for that matter, it's easier for a 58-year-old who's hard up to sound like a really out-of-whack 11-year-old. Like, it's really tough to tell. So it's part of this seems like this situation was at the nexus of sexism and people feeling like gamers are marginalized to begin with, and this is kind of like, I mean, is this the 90-pound weakling, you know, getting harassed on the beach? I don't know, like, you know, having sand kicked in his face and now he's turning around. I mean, it seems like that's part of it, at the least. That this is like a gamer backlash against mainstream society, or like feeling marginalized being with it. And it's funny that gamers feel marginalized because so many people are gamers.
Well, you probably the demographic of a gamer is one that's probably that probably came from some sort of bullying background. They were bullied rather than the bullier.
Okay, in life.
In life, and you don't want to give credence to the fact that this is right. You don't want to blame the victim, and you don't want to blame the aggressor here. Look, I'll tell you, I see it in Ingress. The one game I play, there's trash talking, and then it gets too far where people are I mean, I hear complaints that this person's staying outside my house watching where I'm going.
It's just that with Ingress, that seems like a kind of unreasonable complaint considering what the nature of the game is, right? Like, I just like that is stalking is the name of it. Like, Ingress is Google for stalking, but okay.
You go to a portal and you do whatever you need to do. You don't follow someone and go to their house or wait on their lawn or virtually drop items in the shape of phallic symbols on the virtual map. But I mean, we've had players take pictures of other players surreptitiously. It's like, or their name is like really bad, and we've called them out on that. But even in a game like that, where when it opened up to everyone, the worst people came out of the woodwork.
Paul, do you have any experience with this? Do you have an Ingress equivalent in your life that you would be able to speak from experience on?
I maybe fantasy football, but I don't know. This is very different. It sounds very immature and blown out of proportion.
So among the three of us, then, do we have? I mean, I play a little bit of League of Legends, but I mean, I can see how a little chatting on League of Legends could really turn you off from the game overall. I mean, it can get bad. I guess I don't. I just see like it goes completely out of my mind as I see it. So but if you take even with like 1% seriously, I could see it being damaging. But fantasy football seems like one of those types of games that it gets its own. You get a pass for fantasy football because it's related to football, which definitely is you get a pat on the back for. So it's like that's okay. None of us are, I guess, so into any game that we can even speak to, like World of Warcraft and stuff that people. I don't even know where.
Well, the question is, it goes outside the realm of the virtual world. So you're playing League of Legends, or you're playing Warcraft, or even fantasy football. You're trash talking, but then all of a sudden you bring that trash talking out, and you're denigrating your wife, your spouse, your kids. You're turning into this like terrible person, and if somebody slights you wrong, it's almost like road rage. You want to get them back.
So something a couple of days ago, an indie game developer apparently tweeted something saying that he was going to kill Gabe Newell of Steam. I guess because his game was delisted from Steam or didn't get accepted or something. I'm sorry, it must have already been on Steam, but he was venting Steam. And said something really stupid on Twitter, like I'm gonna kill Gabe Newell, and his game was delisted. And in that case, it had nothing to do with obviously there probably wasn't sexism at work there, but I mean, I don't know. Am I like joining these two instances? Are gamers just immature? Like Paul keeps trying. Like I don't want to say that, but is that the lesson to be learned here?
I'm thinking so. I mean, look, we've heard about this for. I mean, it's been making the rounds for at least for me, 3 or 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I try to find it, I can't find any concrete evidence that this is the event that started it. Here, I mean,
okay, so I don't play Call of Duty, probably because I would be really bad at it. I don't know if I've ever held an Xbox 360. What is the newest one? Xbox One controller outside of like testing out at a GameStop or something. I've definitely never had the headset on while I was actively playing a first-person shooter. But I do feel like if I sat down to play one of those, I deserve what I'm getting. Like I deserve what's coming to me. If like I wouldn't, like. I mean that's totally different though than two professional people having it out in the press. Are you saying then? I'm trying to temper your blanket yes here. Are you saying that sometimes the immaturity that we do overall experience in online gaming led into the real world here? I mean,
well, I guess what happened was, I mean, it started. If the story that I'm trying to read is the actual event, the indie game developer decided to have a relationship. So have a relationship with a person in Kotaku. The controversy came to a wider attention due to a sustained campaign of harassment that indie game developer Zoe Quinn was subjected to, after an ex-boyfriend posted numerous allegations on his blog in August 2014 that included that she had a quote-unquote romantic relationship with a Kotaku journalist.
So here's where the misogyny comes in. The basis of his claim is that any of the positive coverage that this female game developer got was the result of her having a romantic and untoward romance, is like the implication, or like that she was sleeping around to get good coverage for her indie game and didn't deserve it. So that the misogyny there is pretty apparent, that there's just no room for a female developer, is where it really comes to the fore.
I mean, not let's take an aside. When Robin Williams passed, and they harassed for whatever reason, what's her name, Zelda Williams, the daughter. They harassed the daughter to the point that she had to leave all social medias.
So and she's back now, and apparently she got a tattoo in remembrance of her father, and is posting that on Twitter and stuff again. First of all, her name, he named her that because of his love of the game Zelda. So there's a gaming family, so it's apropos. But it seems like the internet troll, like there is a critical mass of internet trolls, and even if it's like a slight number, like people's psychotic side comes out when they are working in mass and anonymously. and they say really, really shitty things. Any person could be the victim of it. Um, I mean, it's pretty clear to me that this wouldn't happen if right beside every post was someone's legitimate picture and a link to even an online profile that had, like had some correlation to their real life self. I'm not, like that's anonymity. Then is the problem. It lets people kind of vent the crappy part of themselves. I don't know.
Well, I mean, okay, so we have the anonymity part, but so recently, I've been trying to think about the stuff I say in class to my students or around that could be taken in not necessarily the most positive way. So, for example, I tell them I address the class as "Hey guys," not to mean anything other than "Hey everyone in the class, male and female," but I can see.
And you're so sexist.
Yeah, well, not even that, but people. I mean, go ask your girlfriend. She'll probably say, "I'd rather be addressed as ladies and gentlemen." And I look at it as, oh, that's really stupid. Like, who cares? But apparently, it gets sometimes it gets on people's nerves.
Ladies and gentlemen could just as easily be taken as like a a misogynistic trip down memory lane. Like, oh, and also you have to hold the door open for all these ladies, and being a gentleman, that term carries with it a certain entitlement. And being called a lady, there are like sexual undertones to that. I mean, if you
well, how many workshops on sensitivity do I need by saying, "Hey guys"?
There's no way that they told you to address your group of adolescents as ladies and gentlemen at a sensitivity.
That is true, but. Yeah. But saying "Hey guys" may be worse because
is that the recommended language?
No, but I don't remember what the recommended language is. How do you address the group of
these trainings? Is what it sounds like. You are admitting that.
Because I say "Hey guys" just as a colloquial salutation to people, not as hey guys and women, you're useless.
And then eventually there's going to be someone that's going to be like upset because you have a trans student among those students, and because they're still transitioning. Any one gender, like any word that has like a gender binary built into it, or even if it's been jettisoned from a gender binary, is going to bother someone. So hey all, hello everyone, is the
students. Hey students.
No, well,
hello human beings.
Well, so we look at it and say, oh come on, that's nonsense. But I generally don't hold the politically correct flag up. I just try to be nice to people in general. But apparently, people are getting offended by it, and I don't know how to stop the madness.
But you're not one of the bad guys, Heim. You get a pass from me. You get a pass from Paul. Like you're thinking about it. Your next kid's probably going to be a girl, and then you'll really have a lot of credibility here. You'll be like, I'm married to a woman, and I have a daughter. I can't,
Paul solved the problem. So Paul,
because you're a computer science teacher, you have to address everyone as period star.
We do that. Select all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in all seriousness, though, you're a comp sci teacher. You have to make you ought to make the comp sci classroom hospitable to women, and it does seem like it's not so different than shop class. Like it is a realm that boys can thrive in, and they're regardless of the source of the misogyny, because there could be pages and pages and pages of written about that and studies done to figure out what's going on. If it's a cultural thing, if it's innate, whatever. You have a very special role, frankly, to bring female coders up in the world, and just the fact that for an attractive woman to be interviewed by a Kotaku editor, there can be problems because think of the way women are portrayed in video games. Yeah, like her picture is going to end up next to Lara Croft. Does that date me? That's what comes to my mind. I don't even know what it. But like some ridiculous like not even an hourglass shaped woman, like a two boobs, a
See, there you go. You're saying boobs. I think you should say like, but I don't know what you would say. I mean,
okay. I
Big
mean,
star.
I should say pound star. What do you want me to say, Paul?
Period star.
No, but I'm to refer to that
the
part of
female.
the anatomy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, again, I mean, you're not saying it out of any context that I would say, wow, Justin, you're a horrible person. But if you're trying to make something more inviting to females, or, I mean, clearly making it pink is also just as patently offensive, and people still do it. To do, oh, we're going to put female designated colors in the room or whatever it is, but.
Okay, we have taken the discussion over Gamergate because I guess what's come out of this is we don't know what's at the heart of the gaming universe. It's just we are pretty far removed from it. I mean, you can get really deep into it, I guess, is the lesson. I mean,
The fact that three men are talking about this for half an hour without a female voice.
well, I mean, do you want to? We can say without doxing the person, so to speak, that we had a female participant or potential participant out of fear.
Not wanting to come on.
And that's sad. You know, that's sad on its face. So the internet, which is this huge, vast ocean of people, it's all of a sudden it seems really personal, right? I mean, we can see that anyway. And the internet, it gets into your head. If you think that all the comments are going to be misogynistic and uninviting, yeah, you're not going to want to participate in a certain community. It seems that just like Mary Shelley used pen names to get her writing, taken more seriously, and female academics have used their first two initials rather than female first names, like on official submissions of their papers, just to kind of short circuit potential misogyny. Maybe it'll take a female game developer to do that and prove to the world that females can do it. I don't know. It is not a good thing for young men who are playing games to take it upon themselves to like a campaign of harassment is even different than a 1 or 2 or 3 Twitter comments, right? I mean, and that's what went on here.
And I think it's going on because people are just piling on. I think it's they said, oh, this person did something that slighted us virtually. Now let's go after them in real life, and we need to stop that.
So without blaming the victim, then that comment goes to the notion that it is defending a certain way of living, of being on the internet or being in life, that and is defense. I mean, and this is not a good excuse, certainly, but is that what you're saying in the minds of the people who are railing on this woman? It is defense of gaming overall? Like, is one like slighted community like taking, or like they perceive this slight, now they're taking it out on this poor girl? I mean, is that what's going on?
I mean,
we needed a gamer on this show as much as we needed a female. It sounds.
It's one of those. No, we need someone who knows about this. So you need somebody who's.
We need a gamer.
Well, I would say somebody we need a terrible person, but because a good-hearted person who wants to play the game for the fun of playing the game, I don't know.
So now what you want us to do is wade into the pool of trolls and pull one out and bring them on the show. I mean, yeah. Like they're gonna do it. They're gonna do it with a piece of voice changing software and a mosaic themselves, the image of themselves.
The fact that it comes to that is the sad part. On something that we can't, that no one really understands the whole story, and it's just spiraling out of control to the point of every time a female opens her mouth about how they're terrified on the internet, their worst nightmare comes true.
So this is like partially like bad internet vigilantism, I guess.
And the sad part is that and I think it's just a subset of how men still treat women in this day and age. I don't know. I try to treat women with respect, and then we get into this issue of saying, "Hey guys," and now it's not right apparently.
Well, I told a room of 4 women that they should park in the parking garage because I was at an office, and I noticed that every hour or hour and a half or 2 hours, whatever the parking limit was, at least one of them would get up and go with quarters to this meter and feed it for everyone. So they had like this huge stack of quarters, like it was like laundry day, and the timers on their phones, and they would get up. Someone would be like designated to go feed the meters for them. I said, there's this parking garage that whenever I come here, they don't even monitor it. I just park on the top floor of the parking garage. I've never had a problem. You don't have to get up all the time. It's more convenient to park there. You don't have to parallel park or anything. And then they said, well, no, we don't want to park there. I said, why? You're never going to get a ticket. You're just not going to get a ticket. And then I kept like driving home the ticket point. And they said, no, we're scared to go into a parking garage. And that did not occur to me, obviously, until one of them said as much. And that notion and all the other things that all the other times I might think of if I didn't push the issue, because I did. I pushed the issue. I never would have known why they didn't want to go into the parking garage, and it's not enough to say that I would walk with them, because then at any given time it's going to be it's going to end up being one single individual woman walking to her car, and the parking garage is a little, it's not monitored for tickets, so it's probably not monitored by the police. It is, I guess, potentially very dangerous, or potentially more dangerous than the street. I never would have known about that thinking. So, Chaim, I guess it's possible that you're...
That's a good example, because you're saying, hey, look, I'm trying to save you money here, and they're just trying to be nice and say either that they're... Again, we're talking what we think women want to say, and that's also not right. But to say we're not understanding it, they don't want to tell us because it seems trivial or whatever else, it causes embarrassment. And then finally they said, look, it's not a good area, or it's not what we want to do, or parking garages just scare us. And now you understand why.
So hopefully the internet doesn't have so many parking garages.
Unfortunately, they probably have more than what we think, and then that goes back to, so what Google wanted to do and what Facebook wanted to do is say, use your real name, and now to try and stop the anonymity so we can at least figure the people out. And then the females and people are saying, well, if you have a stalker or anything else, we want to be anonymous. So they want to be anonymous to prevent attacks against themselves, but they want the others to be public, and unfortunately, you can't have it both ways.
Where are we on Chaim? Where are we on time?
We got a minute and a half.
I was going to ask Paul, when was the last time he screwed up in front of a room full of women?
I don't know.
Chaim, can you answer that question in a minute and a half, or does it take like 3 hours?
It's probably daily.
Okay. All right. So, do all of us get to feel now we get to feel a little bit superior from the average gamer in general, because we don't even know enough about gaming culture to empathize. We're speculating about what the average female thinks, what the average gamer thinks. Okay, good for us. This was half an hour of doing so.
So we just complained about something we didn't know. We added fodder to the issue. We didn't solve anything, and we probably just brought more attention to it.
Yes. Well, okay. So, but Chaim, if you want to sing the mantra of niceness, go ahead and do it in the last 45 seconds.
No, I don't know. I wish this wouldn't happen, and I wish this wasn't a topic, and we go from there.
All right.
So,
okay. And our comments are not anonymous. You can find them all over Twitter all the time, and they're always insightful. Thank you for listening.
Okay.
Good night.
Okay. Bye, everybody.